Let's go. Good morning, everybody, and it is this week's broker update. We're back. I'm Tina, Mike, Michael, Amir. We're all here. How about that? Oh,
I didn't even know.
I know. Is
Bernardo,
Bernardo?
yeah, we're gonna let Bernardo in. And
No,
Bernardo's coming, but he's not here yet.
He's joining us from the road. He's probably got to pull over.
All right. First thing I want to let everybody know, both Integrity Title and Charles Rutenberg will be closed tomorrow. Obviously, we've got a little storm coming in. So first, we want everybody to be safe, be smart, stock up on whatever you need to stock up on. Friday, right now, we think we'll be here, but it's going to be a to be determined. Last time we were closed for a storm. The following day, the winds were still a little too much for us to feel that the staff could get to work safely. Right. So again, Friday is a to be determined. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at. Okay. All right. What are we talking about today, everybody?
So we were having, we've been working on this for what, a month, about bringing you guys some AI tools to build your business. But we have topic du jour today.
Yeah, it's appropriate.
Yeah, it is, because everything is just up in the air right now.
We're gonna Amir's imagine this. We have a new form drop for you.
What?
We need to go over quickly some of these forms, but we also have Michael joining us today. Well, Tina's always here with us today, but on these updates, and we also have Bernardo logging in from the road, guys. And the reason we're doing this is obviously we're in a state of emergency and transactions are ceased at the moment. Nothing's closing. I'll let you guys talk about that.
Yeah, okay, I can jump in on that whenever.
Yeah, so we're going to give you guys an update on when your deals, how long force majeure could be, how to work the contract, what the reinspection will look like, and what Michael's got some great information about what he handled down in Ivan or whichever one, the last storm down there. So we want you guys to understand that. But before we get started on that, we want to do a little housekeeping, a little more than that, I think. Mira's going to come in.
We're going to jump into a couple of things here, but before we do that. So as we spoke to you guys last week about the new condo rider and the new flood disclosure that came out on Monday of this week, those going to go into effect on October 1st. So I believe that's Tuesday coming up.
Perfect timing.
So if you're taking a new listing today and it's a condo, I would definitely recommend you grab the new condo rider.
Pretty comprehensive.
And, they added paragraph 11. They changed some verbiage in paragraph 5. So make sure you're up to date. Once again, if you're not using the most recent forms, there's a good chance if something comes down the pipe, coverage will not cover you. So always make sure you're using the most up-to-date form. So like the flood disclosure and the new condo rider is up on the dashboard. It's up in Form Simplicity. Any transaction management software you're using should have it up already. And then also, in regards to the compensation rider or the compensation agreement that we've been using, which is great, and that's you're still free to use that. Byron, if you want to put that other rider up, Michael and I, we came up with our own type of buyer brokerage compensation rider, because I know a lot of people, you want to be able to attach it to the contract. And if you're just using the compensation rider, yes, that is attached to the contract because of the last paragraph in the contract. However, this would actually allow you to bring a rider into the contract. So you would check off the other box under paragraph 19 on the contract.
Yeah.
Write in the little blank there, buyer brokerage compensation rider, and then fill out this rider that we have. It's pretty self-explanatory, but it references the buyer's broker agreement and what they have in there as far as their compensation. So it pretty much discloses that to the seller, so they know, oh, hey, this buyer really is have a buyer brokerage agreement, and the fee they owe to their agent is X. And then it goes on to ask the seller to pay that fee, and you put in that fee as well. So once again, it ties it to the contract. It's very clear what the compensation is. It discloses to all parties what the buyer brokerage fee is to their agent, or what the buyer has to pay to their agent, and then that the seller will be compensating the buyer broker on behalf of the buyer. I saw this come. Mike and I put this together, and I think it's a really great form.
It's straightforward language.
Yeah.
It's simple. That's part of what the big demand is out there. Is it's a consumer-friendly language. Guys, these blanks are so easy to fill in that anybody can do that.
Yeah. And so if you're using this rider, which attaches to the contract. You don't need the compensation agreement, seller to buyer broker, or buyer broker, or seller broker to buyer broker. You can just add this to the contract, fill it out, seller signs it, keep moving forward.
Thanks,
I think that makes it easy.
It's streamlined in it. What'd you say, Brian?
Thanks for raising his hand.
Hank, hold on one
Hold
second.
on, Hank.
This is streamlined.
Hank.
It really makes it simple, guys. I think this is a really good day for you. In fact, I know it is. We had these great, I don't even want to call them workarounds, but procedures we were using to get you paid and to make sure you don't get written out of the contract.
Exactly.
This is about as strong and solid as we can get and simple.
And I think what it does, it helps title.
Yeah.
It helps the lender to know what money is for what.
Correct.
You know, you might have some additional language in your contract about a seller concession, but this is going to talk about your money, your
That's right.
paycheck.
Yeah.
Your paycheck.
Absolutely. And as you see, we thought about it, but there wasn't anything that went every
We
line.
just didn't go willy-nilly.
No, we did not. We thought about it quite a bit. And yes, this does have you disclosing in this rider what your agreement with your buyer is.
Mhm.
It's okay. And as you mentioned first off the bat, there's no reason. It's open and transparent, 100%. There's no reason to be hedging about that and be concerned. So unless you got something, Hank, what do you got, man? Sorry, didn't mean to.
I think Bernardo is joining us, right?
Working, and I hit that by mistake. Hank, we were looking forward to your insightful and witty commentary.
Right.
And
Ah,
now you leave me all, I got all excited.
you just
about
left
it.
your hand in.
So
Bernardo's here.
yeah,
Yes.
we'll take some questions more at the end, regarding this, but it will be in Ruttenberg files today. This form you will not find in Form Simplicity or Transaction Desk. If you wanted to add that into your account, download it from Ruttenberg files, upload it into there, so you would have it. But now moving forward, let's talk about what we're getting into today as far as the new storm coming on. What's that? Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
take that.
take
yeah.
that.
Before we get into that, I know everybody's getting preparations ready for themselves and their homes and things along
Yes.
those lines. But let's not forget, if you're an agent, well, all are agents, if you have a listing out there and you have a sign in somebody's yard, that can become an issue.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
start preparing your listings for the storm that's coming. If there's you have a hanging sign or a rider or whatever, go take those down today.
Yeah.
Last thing you want is your sign ending up through the window of the neighbors. I guarantee you're not going to get that listing next year.
No, probably not.
It's-
Probably not.
It's not going to happen. So, if you have vacant homes, go make sure that, on behalf of the seller that, the thing is secure.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
All your listings, you need to do a drive-by. After the storm, don't rush out too quick after the storm. Wait till the water's receded and
Right.
however bad it's been as the branches. But you should go by and take a look at your listing. Make sure everything's intact and
Especially if you got sellers who are not here, not local.
Yeah.
Not local. That's important.
Yeah, in 0405, our busy season, you guys get an old war story from me before it's all over. And all those games.
Every week.
I had a very large property management company I was running as well, and I couldn't leave during those storms. I couldn't. I felt like because all my owners were absentee. It was a commercial management with some residential, and they're never around. So I would pack the family up, and if they had to go, they had to go, and I had to stay. Now, in retrospect, maybe that was a little overzealous on my part. Maybe I should have said, I'll leave it with them. But that was my commitment in my job, and I thought that I need to be here afterwards. As soon as I can to be out there and represent my properties and my listings. So, take it serious, guys. This is, this is your job, your career, and something like this sometimes can make you. You can be the
hero.
Yeah.
Be the hero.
And get a lot of goodwill out of it. So you want to talk to him a little bit about what it looks like if we do get into a force majeure. Let's do it.
So,
Let's let him lead into what you guys are going to do.
all right.
Yeah. So, obviously yesterday we started with Tina coming over and telling us that, hey, I've got some closings today. But also I have other lenders who are not willing to close today, and insurance is not writing today. So because we have that impending storm coming, and so that leads into us getting phone calls at the office about, well, what happens now? We're supposed to close today or tomorrow. What do you do? Well, paragraph 18 of the contract, that I think it's paragraph 18G is force majeure. That comes into play when an act of God, whether it's a hurricane, an earthquake, a fire,
Some Mother Nature thing, right?
Mother Nature, could be a government shutdown. It could be a pandemic.
One of those flew me too.
We might want to have one of those next week. I don't know.
Exactly. So anything that prohibits the buyer or the transaction from getting insurance, or the lender lending will enact this this part of the contract. And so what ends up happening is there's a 7-day period that will start the first day of the event, and that can and so if you're supposed to close today, it will automatically extend for up to 7 days. Or if the event can't stop or hasn't stopped by then, it'll continue. It's 7 days from when the event stops.
The molten lava is still running.
Right,
weeks
so
later.
then we
You
can't,
built
we're
in.
not, I got
So
you.
you have the automatic extension. But then let's say the event has gone and passed, but the property has been damaged.
Yes.
Well, the property needs to be delivered to the buyer in the same or better condition than it was at the time of contract. So the seller has up to 30 days to make
Remedy,
it right,
yeah.
to remedy it. And if they can't after 30 days, then the buyer or seller can essentially give notice to the other party, voiding the contract, and then the earnest money would go back to the buyer at that
Okay.
Yeah. That's the provision that you have in your contract. And then these guys are going to talk to you about logistical terms. So what really happens?
All right, so you've got a finance transaction, you've got a cash transaction. We actually have 2 or 3 of those going on right now between tomorrow and Friday. So anything that we currently have, and you can certainly jump in, Michael, of course, anything we have going on with a loan is on hold.
Okay.
Our lenders that we are currently have on files are on hold. We want to see what happens after the storm passes.
Yeah.
I believe a lot of lenders, again, maybe not Michael, but maybe so, they want a reinspection of the property.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, yeah, my property's great, but then I drive by and there's no roof. That's
Yeah.
going to be a problem. Cash transactions, a little different. But in my eyes, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, if I am representing the buyer, I want to look at that property before I close on my cash transaction.
Yeah.
I have a cash transaction on Friday. Seller has already signed their documents. The buyer is going to sign via DocuSign today, and they are going to send me their money today. But they are going to call me on Friday, and both agents are in agreement, buyer and seller in agreement. They are going to call me on Friday and say, everything is lovely, disperse the money, let's call this one done.
Yeah, it's imperative more so than ever to have a really good and open relationship with the other side of the transaction.
Yeah.
Don't just start going, well, the contract says this. Y'all need to have a meeting of the
Yes.
minds and be over communicating, and if anything else. And there's no hard and fast rules. We're talking the day before the storm. We don't know what it's going to look like
No.
tomorrow or the next day after the storm. So these precautions are in place and give you, maybe if I'm representing a buyer and the storm was just a normal afternoon storm at this location, I'm not so worried about it. But if we've had 6, 7, 8 hours of sideways rain or something like that, I'm probably going to seriously recommend that we re-inspect a home inspection. So that's a possibility too. You can come get an updated inspection with your inspector. You can say, listen, I don't need you to do a whole new full-blown inspection. How about what would you charge me to come do a quick little eyes and ears, see smell, we call it. Did you see anything? Did you smell anything? Well, no, we're good. The roof didn't cave in the living room or anything. We're good.
There's not ducks in the
living room.
So I don't know. And listing agents, have that conversation with your sellers.
Absolutely.
Be upfront with your sellers. This is going to possibly cause a delay. I can tell you anything that's closing tomorrow is not closing.
Yeah, it's not closing. No, not closing.
I mean, cash or not cash, I can't even imagine if you're purchasing a property.
Well, even if it's cash,
Who's going to sign that? Yeah. Right. Right.
Is insurance going to be able to be bound?
That's the other. Bernardo's
We
here.
got Bernardo on to address this, but typically I know when there's a named storm in the box, but this storm wasn't even named, and they were so good on the predictions of it. They knew what it was going to be doing 2-3 days ago.
Right.
So I believe the next, Bernardo, we're going to defer to you right now. I believe the next thing, once you become under a state of emergency, triggers some things too, I believe. Go ahead, Bernardo.
So good morning, guys. We started seeing some of the insurance companies shutting down probably around 4 o'clock on Monday. That's when they stopped binding stuff. There was some open all the way up until about probably 2 or 3 p.m. yesterday. Which, to be honest, we bound one, I think was probably at 1 p.m. For today. And we knew that they wasn't going to close today because, exactly because of the reasons you guys were saying. Now, I'm expecting that probably, if everything goes well, by 3 to 5 o'clock sometime on Friday, we should be able to start rewriting. And then at that point, we can get policies bound for Monday. I actually have someone that is trying to close on Monday that I'm going to be watching out for to see if it's not done on Friday. We're going to do it on Saturday. So the lender will have that binder first thing on Monday, and then they can try to rush through and see what they need to do. But on the end of the day, what you guys were saying, going back to the property, looking at it, that's way more important than trying to get a binder on the last minute or trying to close when we have a storm, either coming through or in our area. One thing that I would suggest people, to do, not necessarily just for business purposes, but grab your phone, walk through your house, and record the entire house, tonight. You never know, something happens. It's nice to have a video showing, the couch you have, the TVs you have, the things you have. That would definitely make things a little easier. If there's a claim in the future, there's not a whole lot of back and forth about how big the TV was, what brand was it. You don't have to get into the serial number and all that kind of stuff, but just kind of browse through the entire house. And also so you remember it. I mean, sometimes if you have a total loss, you may have you may have to talk to the adjuster and list items that you're missing. And I couldn't list half of the stuff that is in my living room probably. So that's a good idea to have.
Right.
What kind of stuff you got in your living room?
Right.
All right.
I don't know. Julie buys all the stuff that goes on the it's all the knickknacks and stuff.
What Bernardo was saying about, he's going to have to go in late Friday or Saturday, try to get insurance rebound and all that good stuff. Let me say this. You're going to be looking at insurance. You're going to be looking at the lender. You're going to be looking at the title company. So I'm going to say this as gently as possible. Because you had a closing for Thursday or Friday, doesn't necessarily mean everybody's going to be closing on Monday.
Right.
You have to keep in mind the lender has to get things redone. Insurance has to get things redone. Then it has to come to title, and we've got to get things redone. So patience.
Yeah, your probations and everything changed now.
Yeah, patience and understanding. And remember, there are only so many hours in the day for all of us. Anything that is delayed between all of the parties involved.
Right.
I mean, everyone, us, lender, you guys, insurance, we're all going to be working as quickly as possible to get everything back on the books. But Monday just might not be everybody's day,
Right.
Well,
when closings get jammed up for 3 days, it's
Right.
not realistic to think that everybody got all their work done and ready to go Monday morning.
But you already have closings that might already be on the books
For
Monday
Yeah.
or Tuesday.
Right.
So everybody just be patient.
Yeah.
And then we will all be getting to you as quickly as we can.
Yeah, and then this market, just rest assured, everybody wants a closing.
Yeah,
Everybody
yes,
wants
yes.
a closing. So I think with that, I know that the lenders, if there's financing involved, I'm just going to kick it right.
Now, here we go. Let's just hand it right over.
Well, it depends. A lot of it's on the insurance end. The box, he was talking about box, and you guys have probably heard the term the box. What is the box? It's a 16,000 square foot or square mile box around the state of Florida. Florida's right in the middle. And if you can't have insurance, that's an issue for a loan, number one. So we got to get the insurance part figured out. And then we have to talk about the property. How do we determine whether we're going to re-inspect the property or not has to do with if it's in a FEMA declared disaster zone. So each county that is declared as a disaster will have a set of requirements. And typically what it is if, like Pinellas County, for example, is one of the counties that's declared, we will have to do a re-inspection. So the appraiser will have to do a re-inspection. That doesn't mean that there aren't alternatives to close before the appraiser goes out, but that inspection has to be done. In the past, we've been able to do senior leadership, including myself, go out, take pictures, certify that there's no damage, close, and then have the appraiser's re-inspection provided after the fact. And that was an exception the last major hurricane we had. So likely that something like that occurring is very probable. So we're definitely going to have to do a re-inspection. And can we avoid the delay of having to wait for the appraiser to be determined on whether the lender you work with grants that exception? We probably will, depending on how significant it is. So each county that's declared by FEMA would fall into this pool. It usually takes about 2 days to a week for FEMA to declare a county from the research that I've done. And in the meantime, we would probably honor the photographs that myself or our leadership team takes to certify the property is in good condition to move forward, and then do an appraisal, final inspection afterwards if it gets put on that list. So there'll be more information coming out on exactly how it's going to work, but there's definitely going to be some eyes on the property, which is what you want, which is what we want, which is what the buyer would want as well.
Yeah, and I thought that was. Go ahead, Bernardo. Do you have something to add?
I see Bernardo.
Yeah, I just want to add something that just came to mind. I have ran into situations throughout the years where sellers, sometimes you get those sellers that are on the ball. They want to turn the power off, the day of closing. They want to do all this stuff ahead of time. And sometimes they want to cancel the insurance, for the day of closing. And on a situation like today or tomorrow, if that request was put into the insurance company and it was overlooked by whoever got it, that insurance can get canceled. And the buyer's insurance hasn't kicked in yet because they haven't taken ownership. So there is a lapse and gap of coverage just because the seller is trying to be proactive about it. So usually what I tell people, especially during the hurricane season, is, don't worry about canceling your insurance until after you close. It's going to get prorated back to the day of closing anyway. So if you requested, the cancellation for a week later, it really makes no difference. So that's just a good pointer, as a listing agent for your proactive sellers, basically.
No,
Great point.
That's excellent.
Yeah, Michael, just thinking along the same lines of those, if somebody was supposed to close today and their rate lock was expired today, but it does get pushed out till next week, what happens there? Does the buyer have to incur those costs, or?
I mean, there is a cost associated. I mean, there is actual cost economically for the extension. We've granted exceptions to cover it on their behalf. We're not going to let it expire. I mean, first of all, unless the market is trending better, then you can basically get free extensions no matter what. So if the market is out there is worse, we're going to definitely extend it, work it out, and likely just give a free extension to the market.
Yeah. When the rates were going up, man, we had a lot of grief over that, right? People losing their rate locks and stuff. But doing this
Good
business,
question, Mark.
yeah, excellent question. Excellent point, Bernardo. Hey, doing this business as long as I have, I didn't even think of that little point that Bernardo just made, which is a huge point.
Yeah.
It's the summer in hurricane season in Florida. Why have a seller cancel their insurance?
No,
You just
cancel
said
your
you can
insurance.
prorate it back anyways. You might as well wait till you have it. So
Yep.
now there's a possibility, and I'll bet, Bernardo, there's a percentage of people this is going to happen to. You're uninsured at the most vulnerable time in the history of your
Yeah.
home. There's
Yeah.
a hurricane blowing up.
It happens. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does happen, it's unpleasant because they're going to basically lose sleep for the next 3 days now, wondering what's going to happen. So yeah, I usually I tell people just don't worry about it. Do it a week later. It's not going to hurt it.
They're going to get that Toboga Indian and put right in front of their house, aren't they?
Yeah.
To Bernardo's point, my family and I, we bought a house about 6 months ago, and I was thinking, because we were escrowed, and I was thinking, did I ever cancel my insurance? I called last week and asked them, hey, I don't think I canceled my insurance. And they're like, no, you didn't. And actually, I think the reason why I remembered was I got a notice for renewal in the mail. And I called and I had to send them my settlement statement, and they prorated it back to the date of closing. So the point is, you have plenty of time to.
Yeah.
You didn't lose any money.
Oh,
You didn't lose any coverage.
We've done prorations that went back 6-9 months. I mean, they just forgot about it and never called us. And then we get a call one day and they're like, well, we sold our house 9 months ago. And they still get it back. So it's not a problem. I would do it after. I wouldn't even call the agency beforehand.
It's like insurance on your insurance.
Yeah.
You just let it ride until we know we're closed.
And then it gets a little more complicated when you start thinking about moving, right? So let's say you have your homeowner's insurance, you have all your contents in the home, then now you put all those contents inside of a truck, and next thing you know, you have a lapse of insurance, and you didn't buy the insurance for the moving part of your entire move. So it's not like you can go back to the house and put it on the garage and now you're safe. You're sitting around without any coverage anywhere. So I would, yeah. That could be a problem too.
Yeah.
You might still.
No, we're good. You're back. You
You're
went out for
back.
a second.
You're live.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm calling from the car, so it's a little loud in here.
That's what you do. You working today, Bernardo? You out there prospecting in the field? That's what you're doing.
Got to make it look like I'm working, right? No, I'm just
He's in the driveway.
taking signs down, prepping properties, basically. That's it.
All right. See, there you go. That's a good
That's
listing
what we
agent
talk
right
about,
now.
traffic properties.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
I think we've got.
I think we've
All right.
kind of covered. Anybody
So-
have any questions regarding any of that?
Yeah, questions, and anybody that joined late, we had an AI and we still have an AI presentation for you guys, and it's tech, not just AI, some cheap tools. But we thought that it was much more important to talk about this today. So does anybody have any specific questions? And I will tell you, you should have some about this new form. Let me get it in the form. This is awesome. It's a great tool. I think we really, I'm not trying to get off the insurance and lending and reinspect, but guys, this should really make your concern. And Bernardo, I think you might have not caught this. We've got a new form for you guys to check it out. It's in the dashboard. It is a Ruttenberg document, so you're not going to be able to find this in Transaction Desk or anything like that unless you upload it and put it there yourself.
Right.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's just good to be able to tie your commission into the contract without actually writing it in, and just being able to check that box in paragraph 19. So
Amber's got a question.
Amber's got a question. Would we still add the verbiage about the contract contingent on the buyer's agent's compensation and additional terms? No, you wouldn't need to, because you've checked the box on paragraph 19, which brings the rider into the contract. So you wouldn't need to add that verbiage in there.
It really does simplify it, guys. I mean, this is for everybody that's had some stress out there, trying to write the language in there and put it different ways and checking it. This really does make it as easy and simple as I've seen out there, with some very straightforward, consumer-friendly language. It really is self-explanatory. You shouldn't need too much of a class on it.
No.
I figured it out the first time I read it. There we go. You guys ought to be able to.
Good stuff.
Anybody else got anything to add? Any questions? Any comments? Any jokes? Hank, you got a joke to tell us?
I know Hank's got a joke.
Hank's always got a joke.
Yeah, he does. He does. Because we could, tick around and
There he goes. Hold on.
here it comes.
I got nothing, man. I live in a tornado magnet. That's all that's on my mind.
Are you a little nervous today, Hank?
I'm not, but there's other forces at work, so we'll just leave it there.
Yeah, listen, I think we're gonna be all right on this, guys. The models have been in great alignment from day one.
We're gonna see some wind and rain. I
Yeah.
mean, come on.
That's about it.
I mean, I've got pretzels and vodka and a house, so.
I'm good. I picked up a
Just
spaghetti
another Wednesday for
browse
Tina.
this morning. I'm good for
Yeah.
today. What do you
Just
got?
another
Hank?
Wednesday for Tina. There's my
Well-
joke. I'm done.
There's the wittiness.
There's
Hank.
the witty Hank. Then, in this storm, I don't want to say it's just another Wednesday in August, but or September.
September.
Yeah, wow. I'm a month out, but it really is. I don't think we're going to be in too bad a shape, and I fully anticipate we'll be here on Friday.
So do I. We just want to throw it out there.
Yeah.
For anybody who just joined, we are closed tomorrow. We are closed tomorrow. Friday is a to be determined. We fully expect to be here, but we will make that call on Friday morning. I think I mentioned this earlier. The last time we were closed for a storm, the next morning, the winds were really a little too hefty for us to feel that it was safe for ourselves and the staff, of course, to drive to work. So we were closed the day following. But again, it's to be determined, guys.
Yeah, we just got to play it by ear. If there's down, maybe in somebody's certain community, there might be some down trees and stuff like that. We're not going to have anybody, put themselves in danger.
No, not at all.
It's not that important. We can figure it out. So we're going to probably wrap this thing up early today, guys, so we can all go to Tina's house for a prep. There's the survival kit of champions right there.
Yeah.
You want to hit him with classes coming up?
Yes, I do. Let me get those out there today. So obviously our Canva class today is canceled / rescheduled to Tuesday, October 8th at 10 a.m.
And that's with Candace, right?
Yes, is that what Candace?
Yeah, Candace.
That's with Candace and Byron.
And Byron.
Yeah, it's
Oh, is Candace here?
Candace on the line. There she is. Hey, Candace.
we have hi guys. We have so much fun doing those classes. So I hope that more people come out and really get to, dive into it and let us help you figure out how to do this and put out some pretty cool marketing stuff.
Yeah, you guys are doing a great job. Thanks for letting Byron tag along with you.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's
And
much,
anything that I can make my little Byron feel special.
no, he's much
Tomorrow-
better. He's better than I am. Y'all don't be talking about Byron.
Byron getting some props. Tomorrow, NAR buyer forms canceled.
Yeah.
canceled.
Yeah.
We're gonna be too busy with pretzels and vodka tomorrow.
Yes.
All right. Next Wednesday, of course, we'll be back. Broker update on the 2nd of October, 10 a.m. And then immediately following, 11 a.m. to 1 in the classroom and Zoom, pitfalls of insurance.
Oh, with the Bernardo.
With
That sounds
Bernard.
familiar.
Is that you, Kurt? Pitfalls? And then on October 3rd from 10 a.m. to noon, in-house CMA and appraisals. So that's what we've got.
Yeah.
That's what's on the calendar. Everybody be safe,
That's
Yeah.
be
right.
smart, be safe. And we'll be back here next week. And
Same bad time, same
stay
bad
back
channel.
now. Anybody else?
No, good.
All right.
All right, guys.
Bye,
thanks. See you
guys.
next
Bye,
time.
guys.
Out there.
See you.